Hey, what's up guys? It's Coach Justin from Ultimate Baseball Training, and in this video, let's talk about 5 ways that you can get better with zero talent required whatsoever. So the first thing you can do is bookend your practices. And what I mean by that is simply show up to practice a little bit early and stay after practice a little bit late and use that time to get better, creating that bookend around your practice, okay? And I think what you'll find is this little bit of extra effort and this little bit of extra time that you spend is gonna really help you make tremendous progress in a hurry. And it's gonna have this compounding effect throughout the season and over the course of multiple seasons if you stick with this approach throughout your entire baseball career. So does this take any talent? Absolutely not. Anybody can do this, but it is going to take some extra time and it is going to take some extra effort. And here's the real kicker. Here's the secret to this that I want to share with you, okay? A lot of players do this before the season when they're trying to tune themselves up and get them ready to go for opening day, right? They'll show up to practice an hour early and they'll stay after, an hour, and they'll hit until their hands bleed. And they do that for a day or two, and then 2 weeks into the season, they're just showing up to practice on time and leaving on time. And the key to getting that compounding effect is consistency. So you don't have to show up an hour early and stay after practice an hour. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, a half hour on both sides, and doing that with consistency is going to pay dividends in the long run, okay? So bookend your practices, and just remember, it doesn't take this heroic one-time effort. It takes just a little bit of effort on both sides of practice, and do that over an extended period of time. The second thing you can do is elevate your circle and practice with the best. Let me explain what I mean by that. They say that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So if the same is true in baseball, wouldn't you want to spend the most time with the 5 best players on your team? So what I encourage you to do is whenever you're doing drill work, whenever you're trying to find somebody to work with before or after practice, whenever you can, in batting practice groups, whatever, try to surround yourself with talent. Try to surround yourself with the best players that you possibly can, because iron sharpens iron, and you're going to compete with these guys, you're going to learn from these guys, and they are going to force you to level up, okay? So show me who you hang around and I'll show you who you are. That's another great quote that I absolutely love because it's so true. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So make sure that they're good people both on and off the field, but on the field especially. What we're talking about here is, surround yourself with talent, because that's only going to force you to level up. A third way that you can get better is be mindful and be intentional during practice. This is another one that requires absolutely zero talent. And here's what I mean by being mindful and being intentional. The reality is most players during practice, they go through the motions. And I think most people in life go through the motions. They just float their way casually through life. They're not intentional. They're not mindful of what they're doing. And so what I encourage you to do, if you really want to stand out on the field, is during practice, really lock in, dial in, and focus on the here and the now. Focus on, for 2 hours, 2.5 hours maybe. This is your time to, certainly have fun and be around your friends and your teammates and enjoy yourself, absolutely. But this is not a 10-hour practice that you need to be dialed in for. Focus for 2 or 2.5 hours. Really, really focus on the here and the now. Don't be worried about what happened in school. Don't be worried about your homework, what's happening later on tonight. Focus and be intentional with every single rep, with every single swing, with every single drill. Be locked in and play in the present moment, because here's the kicker, right? You cannot just flip the switch on game day. You can't practice soft and expect to play hard. You've got to, if in a real game, which you should all be trying to do, if you're trying to play the game one pitch at a time, well, you can't just flip a switch and start doing that in a real game. That starts in practice. You got to practice that. So when you're in batting practice, you got to be in the present moment. You got to be playing one pitch at a time in batting practice, and in your live at bats against your teammates in practice, right? You got to be locked in practice. That's how you transfer what you're doing in practice into a real game. So I think just a lot of players are not very mindful. They're not very intentional. They're just kind of going through the motions. So again, another one of those things that zero talent required. Most players won't do this. Will you? All right, let's move on to number 4, and that is turn up the heat. And what I mean by that is put some pressure on yourself in practice, okay? So teams, all right, coaches that are watching this, put some pressure on your team as a whole. Play competitive games, create a competitive environment, and put some pressure on players with consequences attached to them. if you're just a player, if you're an individual, if you're working out by yourself, if you're, doing that work before practice or staying later after practice, right? Again, do the same thing. Apply some pressure to yourself and have some real consequences attached, because the reality is, in a real game with real fans in the stands and a real pitcher on the mound, there's going to be more pressure, and the only way you're going to perform well under that pressure is if you practice under pressure, okay? So create some pressure, create some chaos in your practice environment. Another thing that you can do, I mean, it sounds crazy, but during live at-bats in practice, how about cranking up the music so it's distracting, because there's going to be distracting fans on game day. There's going to be a team in the opposing dugout that might be chirping you a little bit, right? That's distracting. Or, live at-bats, put a screen behind the catcher and have a coach or a teammate literally just be talking during your at-bat, trying to distract you. All of that is going to help you be much more focused and perform a lot better when it counts on game day, all right? So put some more pressure on yourself, whether it's in a team atmosphere or just if you're by yourself individually. Put some pressure on yourself and make yourself perform under that pressure, or else there's a consequence. That's going to help you when it really matters most. And the last tip, this one's a biggie. Get from practice, don't just get through practice. I think that too many players out there are just trying to get through practice to the other side. And sometimes I get it, the season can be long, it can drag on, it can get a little bit monotonous. I totally understand that. Coaches, if you're watching this, I encourage you to try to keep it lively, try to always be switching things up. But players, it's so easy for you to just start, treating practice as, oh, it's the same warm up again, the same drills, the same batting practice, and you're just trying to make it to the other side, just trying to get through practice. What are you getting from practice? Are you truly getting better when you're going to practice today, or are you not? So I encourage you, just take 2 minutes before practice and think about, what am I trying to achieve today? What do I want to get out of today? What are my big areas of emphasis? I've talked in the past about, the importance of setting concrete goals for practice, but even if you're not going to set concrete goals, at least taking a minute or two before practice and being mindful of what you're trying to get from practice is going to go a long way in helping you out. That's it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button. I'd really appreciate it. And be sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming baseball videos. We got a lot of great videos currently on our channel too, so be sure to go back and watch those. And hitters, be sure to download the free contact point checklist that I put together for you. Just click on the pinned comment. There's a link down there in that pinned comment. Just click on that link. You can download it 100% for free. This free contact point checklist is going to help you get your swing dialed in and looking picture perfect at the point of contact, so that you can improve your batting average, you can hit the ball harder and further, have more confidence, and have more fun on the field. So 100% free. It's really going to help you out. Go download that right now. Thanks for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.